to show you some information on the course. Okay, so this is KIA4004 Highway Engineering. All right, so this is my name, Muhammad Razdan Ibrahim, and my number 019-2171-583. You might want to save this number to make it easier for you to contact me. However, try to avoid contacting me at night lah, if possible, unless it is a real emergency. Okay. So next is the main reference used in this class. This is just a suggestion lah. Okay. The first four books actually: O Flaherty, Right PH, Mannering, and Garber. Okay, Garber and Hole actually, Nicholas Garber. These are the main books that we normally use in highway engineering. However, if you rely on the notes, it is quite adequate lah. But it is good if you can have other books to refer. The problem with highway engineering books is that most of the books are published in imperial units. So their calculation can be slightly different to our calculation. And also for the chainage calculation, in some books that comes from the US, their stationing measurement, okay, is different. Although they use the same terms, chainage, station, everything, but in some books their measurement can be different. Okay. All right. Next reference is this one is number 4 here is actually in Bahasa Malaysia lah. Okay. This is a very old book written by Professor M.R. Karim. Here is our used to be our professor in our department. And then this is also very important reference. Arahan Teknik Jalan 8/86 ATJ, a guide on geometric design of roads. I will upload a copy of this. I think we already have a copy of this manual online in your spectrum. And also Arahan Teknik Jalan 5885, manual on pavement design. Okay, these are our two main specifications that we need to refer to. Okay. Strategy. Okay, learning strategies. Lectures. No lab work. This is a mistake here. No lab works. Group project. It's not really a group. I tend to give out individual works, but for presentations, it's going to be in groups. I'll explain to you afterwards lah. Next. Okay, before that, do you see the screen is clear for everybody?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Before I forget, for our class, it's going to be entirely online. I'm not going to have hybrid classes. This is because I have a family member that is a little bit compromised, so I cannot conduct individual classes, face-to-face classes. So it's going to be fully online. So do you have problem with that?
No, Doctor.
No, Doctor.
No, Doctor.
No, Doctor.
For example, if you have class at the faculty in the morning, and then you have to go back to find maybe go back to your room for this class, you need to inform me, because if we need to, we can delay a bit our class, maybe 10:15. We start at 10:15 or 10:30, so that you have time to travel from the classroom to your college room. If you don't have any problem, then it's okay. We'll start at 10 a.m. Okay. Just inform me. Okay. All right. Next is your coursework. Okay, 40% is continuous assessment and 60% final exam. All right. So this is our first week, introduction to the course. Next week we are going to cover planning and administration of roads. Okay, road classifications, road hierarchy, so on and so forth. RTVM is road transport vehicles, Malaysia, road transport, road traffic volume, road traffic volume Malaysia. Okay, I'll show you that document next week. Okay, for those who has already took KIA4015, they already know what this is, what this document is. So on week 3, it's going to be a road selection. This is on how we choose, how we conduct traffic study, how we choose the routes that we're going to use for our design. Week number 4 is road selection again, but it is more regarding gradients, clear zones, and cross sections. Okay, I'll show you some example after this. And then the 5th week is going to be on horizontal alignment, circular curves, okay, super elevation, and then vertical alignment on week 6. Okay, so this is more about vertical curves lah. Okay, seg and vertical and crest vertical curves. And then week 7, intersections. Okay, the first few weeks here is going to be used in your project. Week 3 until week 6. Week 7, I'm still unsure whether I should include this in your project or not. Okay, so this is about at-grade intersections. Maybe you're going to just include it a small part for your project, so that you will have to design the road and also the intersections. But I'll think about that later lah. Okay, we're going to cover intersections, conflicts at intersections, roundabouts, traffic islands, channelization, okay, and all this. Week 8 is just theory, okay, road cross-section design, not really design lah, just theory, a theory on the road furnitures, okay, right of way, pavement width, the curbs, and all that. Week 9, okay, I'm thinking of to have a question and answer session, because according to our planning, you need to submit your project on week 10. So on week 9, normally I'm going to get a lot of questions. So I'm thinking if we can have a session online, if you want to ask any questions, then I'll show you how to do the design if you have any problems lah. If this is viable, then we're going to have this in week 9. Otherwise, maybe we'll have something on drainage in this week. Okay, we'll think about that later. Next, in week 10, then we go into the pavement materials part. So these are all theory lah. In week 10 here is all theory on pavement materials, bitumen, modified bitumen, and all that. The following week is bituminous mix design, meaning that how you design your marshal mix. Okay, so this is calculation. Okay, more towards calculation. And then week 12, we're going to have a test. This is an open book test conducted online. Week 13 is your flexible pavement design according to this JKR pavement design method, because the other part here is a bit out of date. So we're going to use this JKR pavement design method because this is the one that we use in Malaysia. I think that it is important for you to understand the method. Week 14, we're going to have project presentation. Okay, so this is your marks distribution. For your project, individual mark is 20%, and then you're going to have a project presentation, which is in groups, 5%. Okay, comes from the presentation. Test is going to be 10%, and assignment is going to be 5%. Okay, I'll talk about these things to have later. I'll show you your grouping first. Okay, So this is just because it involves lots of students. Okay, 8 students per group. So I think I'll just divide you according to your names lah. Okay, because if I leave it to you to choose your group member, I'm worried that you may not get enough students in your group. Okay, so I've decided for you. Okay, so 8 members, 8 students per group, and the last group will have 9 students. I will upload this list in Spectrum for your reference. Okay, the last group here, you have 9 students. All right. I'll talk later lah. I'll explain later how your presentation is going to be. Okay, next we'll talk about your project. Okay. Which screen do you see now? Okay, this is your question. The question for your project. Okay. Oh. Okay. So you are required to design a road connecting 2 existing roads, Road A and Road B, shown in the topo map. Okay. The category of the roads is shown, and the terrain is also regarded as rolling terrain. So you need to provide 2 alternatives, okay, of horizontal and vertical alignment. So I'll show you the details later lah. We'll go through these instructions in detail in week 3. Okay, I'll explain to you in detail in week 3, because today is just an introduction. So there is no way that you can start designing right now. I'm just going to go briefly through the instructions. Okay, no median. Then you have to compare the costs. Okay, if you're going to have a bridge, then what is the bridge? It's going to cost you 50,000 ringgit per meter, okay, depending on the length of your bridge. Borrow earth, meaning that the cut section. Every time you have to cut earth, the cost is going to be 50 ringgit per meter square. So this is not a mistake, meter square, because you just estimate using your plan, your cross-section plan, longitudinal plan. So it is meter square, not meter cube. We just assume the z-axis is the same lah. So this is elevation of the bridge. Okay, invert level of the bridge. Okay, length of the bridge, maximum length of the bridge is 50 meters. Okay, so this is your map. Okay, so this is road A. Road A category R3. The dark line here, the bold straight line is road A. And then this one, the bold straight line here is road B. So it is also category R3, and the route number is route 1508. Okay, you have a river here. So the dashed lines here is the riverbed, the lowest point along the river. Okay, so the contour lines next to the river, the bottom of the river here is the edge of the river. This is the right edge, this is the left edge. Okay, or maybe I can say that this is the east edge and this is the west edge for our case lah. All right, so you have forest reserve over here, private land over here. This is the NB power line, and this is private land. So you need to design, you need to connect these 2 roads. You need to have two alignments. Okay, it's up to you. How are you going to connect these two roads? Okay, you need to provide two alternatives. So you need to highlight the pros and cons of the selected design. Okay, because you have two, then you need to compare the cost. You need to have some technical justifications, and then highlight what are the pros and also cons lah on your selected design. So the scale is 1 to 1000. Okay, so the road must start anywhere. The road can start anywhere on road A and end anywhere on road B. So this is the specification that we are going to use, Arahan Teknik Jalan 886. So you cannot relocate the TNB power line. Okay, the first and last 20 meters must be straight and flat. The starting and ending of your road must be at terrain height. Okay, I'll explain this later lah. Okay, so in other words, in simpler words, you have to do this design lah. Come up with two designs. So this is your typical cross section. Okay, so the width of the road, not including the reserve. This is just the width of the pavement, width of the shoulder, and the verge. Okay, the reserve is a different thing. I think I'll show you one of your seniors design. Okay, so this is last year's project. So you have road A here, you have road B here. So they need to connect anywhere from road A and between these two segments of road B. Okay, so this is, they only have to come up with one design, but I think this is a bit a bit too easy lah. The actual design that your seniors, before you are using is actually an A3 graph, not A3 graph, A1 graph. They will have to come up with an A1 graph design, and then the topo map here is A3 size. So because of this PKP and all that, I have to scale down the project to a smaller scale. So this is the first attempt that I come up with. So I think this is a bit too easy. Not to say that you have difficult ones, but I think more challenging rather than this one. And there is also some mistakes on this example. So I need to come up with a new one. That is the one that I provided you. So this is her her design. Okay, straight segment, a curve, and then straight segment. Okay, connect point A to point B. And this is the calculation. Okay, I'll explain to you in class lah how the calculation is being done. Okay, this is the longitudinal section. So this is the graph that I mentioned that is normally it is A1 graph. Yes, it is that big, A1 graph. But for your case, for our case right now, it is enough if you only use A4 graph. If the A4 graph is not, you cannot fit your road in your typical A4 graph, you can paste another sheet here, okay, to extend the length. Okay, so you can see from this design here, she has pasted another piece of graph so that she can use a little bit more space. Okay, so this is the longitudinal segment. Here, what you see in the plan here, the topo map, is the vertical alignment. Horizontal alignment. This is the road, is your road seen from above. Okay, so this is if you're going traveling, okay, south to north here, you actually have a left-hand curve. Okay, so if you slice this road, okay, along this the center line, and you take the height of the contour, you will get this graph. Okay, so this is your existing terrain height. Okay, so this line here is your vertical design, vertical alignment. So meaning that you are cutting this hill, all this you have to cut off. Okay, if you do not want to cut off this this hill over here, your road must go up, and then go down. So why did she have her design like this instead of going up? It is because of the gradient of the road. So you need to measure the gradient, the slope of this line and the slope of this line. Okay, where's the calculation here? She didn't write it here. Okay, so I assume this is maybe about the difference, height difference is 842, 844, 2 meters different in 30 meters. About 6% maybe. So that is the maximum gradient. If you go from here straight to the top of this hill here, okay, let's say 100 meter over here. Okay, from here go straight down. So the difference here between the highest point and the starting point here divided with the length is going to be your gradient. It's going to be more than 10%. Okay, maybe 50% here in this case lah. So you just look the difference, height difference, 940. Yeah, so this is 60 meters. Divide with, let's say, 100 meters. 60 per 100 meter. Go straight here, and then go up until 900. I think I'll just use a pen. Okay, here is until, oh dia tak boleh ni lah. Okay, never mind lah. I'll explain to you in the class lah. I didn't fix my writing pad. Okay, so this is the vertical alignment. This is your super elevation design. And next, you need to come up with your cross sections. You need to have, I think, 10 cross sections along your roads. Okay, so this is where you have to fill. Okay, this is the natural terrain and below here, and then this is your road lah. Okay, this is also fill. This segment here, this is why I mentioned that the previous assignment is not the terrain is not very good terrain lah. You can see this line here is the natural terrain. It's very high. It's too high. Okay, because I don't have enough time to design last year, so we end up with this kind of terrain. It is still doable, but it's not a very nice nice exercise. So this part you need to fill, and this part you need to cut. Okay, so this is entirely cut section. Same with here. This is entirely cut section. So you notice that the gradient of the road here 9% and 9.5%, whereas here is 4.5. This is 6.5%, and here is -3 and -3. So this has to do with your design. This diagram over here. Okay, so this is the development of the gradient of your road. For example, this one. Your road is the straight segment here. Okay, if you cut along this line, the crossfall is going to be 3% to the left, 3% to the right. But if you slice your road over here at the curve here, okay, since the curve is going to the left, your right hand side is going to go up, and the left hand side of the road is going to go down. So this design is needed to make sure that the centrifugal force of the vehicles moving along the road will make sure that the vehicle does not topple over easier. So you see, right hand side going up, left hand side going down. So this is showing that the curve is going to the left. Okay, the more you get into the middle of the curve, okay, this is starting of the curve over here. Okay, as you enter the maximum part of the curve here, the super elevation is going to be higher. See, here 9.5 and here is -9.5. For this design, their maximum is 10%. So on the right hand side is positive 10%, negative 10% is on the left. Okay, right hand side going up, left hand side going down, because it is a curve going to the left. Okay. All right. So this is just an introduction lah to your design. So you, in your case, you need to come up with 2 horizontal design. Okay, one option and another option, and then you need to come up with 2 vertical design. This design. So you need to compare between the 2 options that you have, and then you choose one. You choose one, and then for the calculation part here, you only calculate for one design. Okay. So coming back to this typical cross-section diagram here. So all these curly lines over here is the natural terrain, and this is the example of another natural terrain. If the natural terrain is down here and your design is up above it, okay, the width of the road is going to be here. This is the lane, and this is the shoulder, and then 0.5 meter, and you have a slope. If your road lies underneath the natural terrain, meaning that you have to cut here. You're going to have the lane, shoulder, and 1.5 meter of verge, and then the slope. That's the difference lah. So this is what we call as typical procession. So the things that are going to change is the percentage here and the percentage of the shoulder. Okay. So what you need to have is you need to have a geometric set, compass, protractor, okay, so on and so forth. It's good to have a flexible curve, especially when the flexible curve has measurements, has a scale. Okay, meaning that you can use it as a ruler lah, the flexible curve. Otherwise, if you have a flexible long ruler, it's adequate for you. The reason for this is that because you need to measure the length of the curve. Okay, it's easier for you to measure the length of the curve if you have a flexible curve. Otherwise, flexible ruler will be adequate. Graph paper A4 and then pencil eraser. Why do I need to tell you that you need to have pencil and eraser? Because from my experience, sometimes students only have pens. They don't have erasers and pencils. So I need to remind you lah, you need to have this too. All this. Okay. Apa lagi saya nak tunjuk kat you? Group pun sudah. Okay. Any questions?
Not for now, Doctor.
Not for now. Don't worry if my explanation on the project is not clear, but I hope you have some idea lah on the extent of the project. You need to start early, otherwise maybe you don't have enough time lah to complete your project. Okay, we have 89 students from in the system. It's shown that we have 89 students, but now we have 97 students in the class. May I know why? How come? If any of you is not registered in this class, I hope jangan ramai sangat lah. Not too many entering this class, because if it is more than 100, they cannot enter the Google Meet. I'm worried that people that is not supposed to be in this class enter this Meet, and then people that's already registered, they cannot enter because it's already more than 100. Okay. All right. Okay. If you have no questions or no anything that you have nothing to raise, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
Doctor.
Yes.
Sorry, may I have a look at the grouping list? Because I think 1 or 2 weeks before, quite a number of us didn't confirm our registration. Okay. So I believe that's why there's the numbers are not tally.
Okay, I see. Where is it? Can you see it now? Not yet.
I'm seeing Google Chrome.
Google Chrome.
Google Meet.
Why is it not presenting? 1 minute. Okay. Can you see the Excel file?
Yes, Doctor.
So anybody not listed here?
Yeah, doctor. I believe most of us, we didn't, because we haven't confirmed our registration on the deadline, before the deadline, so we took some time to deal with HEP. So I
Okay.
believe that's why the numbers are not tally.
I see.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 97 students lah.
I think so. 96 or 97 again.
I see. No wonder the first list they gave me is we have 95. The second list they gave only 89. I thought somebody dropped the subject or something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Saya pula leave. Lost his hand. Okay, so never mind lah. I'll just wait for next week. If your name is still not listed, okay, I'll upload this list. Okay, whoever is not listed, please give your number and your name to me so that I can put in your name in. Also you need to check lah with HEP. Not HEP lah kan, apa tu? Your registration. Make sure that you are registered. Otherwise, I don't have your name. I cannot key in your marks. Then you spend your entire semester doing all this work for nothing. Okay, make sure you confirm everything that you are legally registered for this course. Okay, any other questions? Yes. Okay, no more questions?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
I got one question regarding our class will be online. So what is the status for our final examination?
Final exam, I think for all subjects is going to be online.
Online also?
Yeah, every subject, all subjects.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Oh, Spectrum is 98. The list that they gave me comes from UM seats. It's not from Spectrum. Okay, maybe they have updated the list lah. Okay lah, never mind. I'll use the Spectrum list. Thank you very much for your information. Okay, anything else you want to raise? Okay, if no, then I'll see you next week. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending this class.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Take care.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.
Wow.
Bye.